And so, my fellow Americans, ask not what your country can do for you, ask what you can do for your country.
I am a real American.
Good morning, everybody. How are you doing today? It's Jeremiah Westbrook, your Common Sense American Patriot with the Common Sense Politics Show. I hope everybody had a great weekend. I sure did. On Saturday, I did nothing but relax, and Sunday I hung out with the family and had a good family day and watched the Demolition Derby at the fair. And speaking of the fair, that is why I was worn out on Saturday. I had worked the closing shift at the Republican booth at my local fair Monday through Friday. I was out there putting work in, getting people registered to vote. I was helping people get active in learning how to get involved in our local Republican group, getting people signed up, and trying to get more information out to people so that we can unseat our current Congresswoman, Katie Hill, who is a Democrat, who ran as a moderate Democrat, but is far from that. She has voted far left progressively since she's been in office, so hopefully that helps us here in our purple district get her out. So that is my main goal. I'm out there putting in work trying to get Katie Hill out, and I don't know how she's not part of the squad. She's done a pretty good job kind of staying away from that. So she's a little bit brighter than those ding dongs, but she's not much brighter. She just knows not to actually get her name attached to them, but she votes right along the same lines as them, and she's openly defended a lot of them. Ilmar Omar, if that's even her name, and Rashid Tlaib. She has voted and she's publicly defended them. So she is really part of the squad. So that's who she is, and that's who we need to get out. So today I'm going to be talking about kind of a local issue here. Even though I like to talk about national politics, this show is really going to be just narrowed down to what's going on here locally and politically and everything else from that. And I want to touch base on this because most of you guys out there think that national politics is what really affects you and what really affects your lives. And it is true to a degree, but it's truly everything that happens locally. It affects your life more. You know, you have the federal level, then you have your state level, and then you have your local level too. And your local levels is going to affect you more. Like there's a federal minimum wage, right? But then you've got local minimum wages, and cities got minimum wages that are pushing these things higher. So these local policies actually affect your life more. So I know a lot of people don't vote in local municipalities and local elections, but you must. They are much more important than the presidential election. Yes, the presidential election is important, but I'm speaking to your day in and day out lives here locally. A lot of these things you vote on here locally will affect your day-to-day lives. And when you're fed up with local traffic problems or putting in these stinking bike lanes all in my city here, and they're testing traffic like crazy, that's all stuff that you need to vote on here locally. Your local congressmen, your local mayors, all those different things. And you need to go to city council meetings and different things and see and know what's going on in your local community. We had a sniper shooting here in Lancaster, California. That's where I live. We had a sniper shooting that shot one of our deputies in his own station. It was at the back lot of the station. He was apparently just about to get off, and he got struck by sniper fire coming from a 4-story building right next to the sheriff's station. Well, this 4-story apartment building holds mentally ill people. So it's a government subsidized apartment complex that houses mentally ill people. That's 4 stories tall above our sheriff's station. And apparently the sniper fire came from there and hit the sheriff deputy, and all hell broke loose. Okay, so I mean, the sheriff response was massive. One of their own got shot, and it was from a sniper fire. So it just made it even that much more worse. And they had an absolute massive response to this shooting. The deputy was taken to the hospital, allegedly was under surgery. This is all what was first breaking, but he was going to survive. So they surrounded this apartment complex immediately. I mean, obviously it's right next to the sheriff's station, so they had it contained in 2 seconds. So I go to bed that night, knowing that they had the apartment complex detained and they're still clearing out the building, and the shooter they believed was still in the building. Okay, cool. I go to bed. Now I wake up the next morning and I find out that they have arrested 2 people, but none of them were the shooter. So that's where we're at. So then the next morning gets a little funny. This is why I want to talk about this story too, because there's a lot of funny stuff going on. And that's why I'm talking about it, because I want everybody to see kind of even the shady stuff that goes in local politics. And just all the weird, goofy things. This story is just so weird, and I want everybody to know what's going on here locally and nationally, because it, like I said, these local things affect you more than national policies. So everybody here who lives in Lancaster, I'm going to share this video like crazy here in Lancaster, because I want everybody to know what's going on. And so going back to the story, so I wake up and they don't have any suspects, but there's no massive manhunt going down. They don't have the shooter that's a sniper shooter that shot one of our deputies, but there's no manhunt for this guy. It's all quiet on the Western Front out here. It's crickets. There's no massive search underway. There's no warnings. There's no stay safe because we don't know where the shooter is. It's nothing. It's all quiet. We're not hearing anything from law enforcement. We're not hearing any details. We're hearing nothing. The next thing we hear is there's no manhunt, there's no anything. The next thing they tell us the next day is they recovered a pellet gun. So a pellet gun was recovered, and they're gonna go send that off to the lab and get it tested and make sure that's what struck the deputy here. So here we go. Here's the first one. So this is from a local news page that we have here on Facebook. Pellet gun sniper still on the loose after shooting Lancaster deputy. So this is the only thing we got. Deputy Angel Reynosa, a 21-year-old patrol trainee with the Los Angeles County Sheriff's Department, was struck at gunfire at the sheriff's station. So that's all we knew, is that they recovered it, they released the deputy name, and they said he was struck by this bullet, by this pellet gun, and they're going to test it and even make sure this is the weapon that shot him. So that's all we heard, that it's a pellet gun. So we had this massive, so this is just me as a citizen here. I said, what? We had this giant, massive response for a pellet gun? How did this guy call out shots fired? Wouldn't you hear the shots fired? You would hear that, right? You would hear the gunshot and holy smokes, I'm shot, I'm bleeding, something. A sniper rifle, even hitting a bulletproof vest, I would think would knock you on your tail or on your butt and knock the air out of you and have some pretty severe damage. But a pellet gun? I'm sure if I got shot by a pellet gun, I'd probably jump like, what just shot me? Or what was that? But I'm going to realize I don't have a hole through my chest. I'm not bleeding out everywhere. I'm not calling out shots fired. I'm not running to the local fire station and getting transported to the hospital. So it's already starting to sound a little fishy. Like, wait a minute. There's no manhunt. A pellet gun? This guy couldn't tell he got shot by a pellet gun? I mean, I've never been shot by a pellet gun, but I'm sure it stings like hell. But I'm sure it's a giant difference than you being blown on your butt from a sniper shot, hitting your bulletproof vest, putting you on your butt with a giant bruise and probably breaking some ribs or even knocking the air out of you. But a pellet gun? So things are already starting to sound a little fishy, right? So now we find out it was a hoax. So let me show you right here. Reported shooting of sheriff deputy in Lancaster was a hoax. Los Angeles Sheriff's Department. I want you to look at this key detail right here. Posted at 8:18 p.m. August 24th. So this was 3 days after the shooting. In the middle of the night, they released this press report. So it's pretty funny that they released this super late at night. Not like prime time, not any time during when people are going to watch. They posted at night. So everybody woke up to this crazy news. Like I heard it the next morning on the 25th. And I was hearing like, oh, it was a hoax. Did you hear? No, what are you talking about? And of course, they buried it in the middle of the night news. So here we go. Let's go on the rest of this. The reported shooting of a sheriff's deputy in Lancaster this week in what authorities previously described as a targeted attack that triggered a massive manhunt was a hoax, sheriff officials said Saturday night. And massive is, I mean, that's an understatement of what happened. I mean, it was like the entire legion of police came here and locked down this one apartment complex because of this bozo. Authorities first described Wednesday's 2:45 p.m. incident outside the Los Angeles County Sheriff's Department Lancaster Station as a shooting, then said the following day that the involved weapon may have been a pellet gun rather than a firearm, right? So that was what we were being fed, but people weren't buying that either. But sheriff's officials announced late Saturday that Deputy Angel Reynosa, a rookie deputy with the department, made the whole thing up. Nice. Deputy Reynosa admitted that he was not shot at from the apartment complex area as he had initially claimed, Wagner said. There was no sniper, no shots fired, and no gunshot injury sustained to his shoulder. Completely fabricated, Wagner said. So this guy, this 21-year-old deputy, made the entire thing up. Created this giant storm of problems here. A legion of police came. I mean, we had everything locked down in this city because of this. So who's taking the blame for it? Which is kind of funny. Not really Deputy Reynosa. The mayor of Lancaster is catching all the heat for this incident. Do I blame the sheriff's department in the response? Not at all. The sheriff department, when they have a deputy over the radio, shots fired on being shot at, are going to come to the full force to protect their deputies. And that's what they did. So I myself put no blame on the sheriff's department here. Maybe some of the hiring practices, but it's a catch-22. You hire a young deputy like this who's 21 years old, doesn't know anything from anything. He has zero life experience. However, these are the guys that are going to pass the background check. I know some guys that shouldn't be carrying a gun at all at that age. They don't have any life experience. They don't know anything at all. However, if you wait to hire deputies and guys that are later in life that do have life experiences, then those life experiences actually tie these guys up and then they don't get hired. So it's a catch-22. I don't know the answer. I'm not in there. That's not my department. But me, for one, I would have liked to have been a deputy a long time ago. But when I was younger, I had some life experiences that would have disqualified me for being a sheriff. And I feel I'm a pretty stand-up civilian, and I think I do my job well. Listen, maybe the cookie cutter perfect little guy you're looking for is not the right answer. I mean, you can hire these cookie cutter guys all the time, and you're still going to get some bad apples. So maybe having such hard, stringent background checks, maybe that's not the answer, because you're getting these young goofballs that have zero life experience and are scared, absolutely scared to death when the first time they run into an actual street thug, somebody who's hardcore and been on the street their whole life, and you've got some cookie cutter little kid that doesn't know the first thing on how to talk to these guys. So I don't know. That's my rant on the sheriff part of it. But again, I don't blame the sheriff department. Maybe some hiring practices can change, but this was not the sheriff's department's fault. No matter how you hire these people, you're always going to get a bad apple, and that's what this guy was. This dude was a bad apple who cried wolf in an egregious way, and I hope this guy gets some jail time for it. So I was pretty happy with the response. Let me go here. I actually like the response of Alex Villanueva. Sorry, I'm a white guy. Don't have that Hispanic rolling of the R's, so I can't really say it right. But I'm not a big fan of this guy, but I respect his response. Here it is. When the news broke on Wednesday, I dropped everything I was doing to be at Lancaster and check on the welfare of Deputy Reynosa. Like many responding personnel, I spent needless time and energy on something that did not happen. Rather than delay reporting what we had learned for another day, I felt that it was urgent that we share the truth to the public. I might question that a little bit, but we'll keep going here. As sheriff, I am responsible for my deputies, and I am embarrassed and incredibly disappointed at what this deputy did. I apologize to our community and our elected officials who rallied in support. During the investigation, we had suspicions concerning the validity of the claim assault, but had to exercise care before accusing an employee of making false statements. After investigators were able to establish the facts, we were compelled to share the disappointing truth in our wish to be transparent with the public. I will not tolerate any willful misconduct by any one of our employees. Deputy Angel Reynosa's actions violated the public's trust. Every day, the men and women of this department work hard around the clock to ensure the public's safety. I do not want the actions of one individual to tarnish the tradition of service. Just like I was saying, this one guy, no matter, I don't care what company, what police agency, what anything, there's always going to be a bad apple somewhere down the line. Like any subject of internal investigation, Deputy Villanuevas is entitled to due process. I will not tolerate anyone who willfully violates their oath of office, makes a false police report, wastes valuable public safety resources, and causes fear in the community. Those who chose to violate the public's trust will face at minimum termination and a potential criminal prosecution. And that is our new sheriff we have in town. That's a pretty open, closed book statement. I have no disagreements with it. I actually think it's a very good statement from the sheriff department, and I hope he does go after this guy and prosecutes this guy for whatever actions. I don't know what law they're really going to pull on this guy. So I hope they go after him with the full extent of the law and nail this guy down. He's going to deserve everything that comes from him. I mean, he really did. He created absolute terror that day when he was calling out that he was shot by a sniper from a 4-story building and caused havoc. So now, the big fallout, there's always a fallout with this. And so this is the main point I want to get into this. So I believe the sheriff department handled this correctly. And I believe the response from the actual sheriff handled it correctly. So now let's get to the mayor. The mayor of Lancaster. I got a little snippet here for you.
We're hearing it glanced off the vest and that's what hit him in the shoulder.
Actually, there was no bleeding, there was no wound. It was just the impact of the bullet into the vest that created the issue.
Captain, were you and your deputies concerned when you found out that that was a building overlooking your parking lot that housed mental patients?
That's always a concern. I mean, it's when you think from a tactical point of view, right? You want, if you're on high ground, you have advantage. So yes, it's a concern. But not just this any building or any sheriff's station when you have high ground around it. That's always a concern. Anything else?
Yeah. It's a building filled with people who are being treated for mental illness. Of course it's a concern. Of course it's insanity to allow such a facility to exist in that particular location. He can't say it because the sheriff's department has to be really politically correct about all this stuff. But let's be realistic. It's outrageous to have that population in that location. And thank God we're not talking about a funeral as a result of it. The mayor gets to say this stuff. The sheriff's department does not.
Anything else for me? All right, thank you.
Alrighty, so there you have it. So that was our mayor, Lancaster Mayor, RX Parris. I don't have a lot of problems with this statement. You know, in the beginning, so the allegation that he called in when this first happens and said he saw the deputy, he was going into surgery and he was going to be okay. That's an allegation that I have not been able to fact check. So if anybody has it, so I can confirm or deny that. But there's a lot of uproar here in this local community about that statement. Okay, so I'm doing a little bit of a follow-up. This video is, as you can see, I got a different backdrop and I got different clothes on today because this video is taking multiple days because I really wanted to research out the facts and make sure we got everything that we needed to know here as a public here in the AV. So as of the allegation that RX Parris, our mayor, went to the hospital and saw the actual victim with a gunshot wound, the deputy, to his shoulder, and he was going to be in surgery and doing okay. I've searched it down, I've hunted it down, and I've gotten every tip. I've had the public help me and give me a bunch of tips here on social media, and I've come down to the conclusion. That did not happen, and I'm going to prove it here. So here we go. Let's go with this right here. A sniper, this is from ABC 7 News. So Parris, this was right when it happened, and Parris talked to the news. A sniper took out one of our deputies, Lancaster Mayor RX Parris said. And the only reason that deputy is alive because he had his vest on, okay? So he already said that at the press conference that we just watched. So going forward here, he was getting ready to take off the vest off. Had he done so, it would be a much more tragic situation. At this time, the mayor still believed that it was a sniper that actually took a shot at this deputy, and we do not know it's a hoax. So you can't you can't blame him for this statement because at this time everybody's believing the same thing, that he was actually shot by a sniper. Parris visited the deputy in the hospital. Okay, so that is factual, that he did go there, allegedly, that he went to the hospital and saw the deputy. He is in a lot of pain, but he's going to be okay, Parris said. He took a bullet here, but he had his vest on, so it deflected up and hit his shoulder. Okay, so that's exactly what he said. That's what he said in his press conference, that he got shot in his vest, it deflected up, hit him in the shoulder. So I have found nothing that says that he saw a gunshot wound and he was in surgery and being taken care of. So I have another person gave me a tip that he called into the John and Ken show on KFI 640 here in Los Angeles area, a radio show, and that he said it there. So I'm going to play the clip for you here so you can hear it, but he doesn't say it there either. So here it is. I'm going to play it for you right now. Here we go.
Well, we're lucky the officer was only grazed. I mean, that was
he wasn't grazed. He took a bullet right in the chest, but he had his vest on.
Oh.
And as a result, it deflected into his shoulder. And it was a grazed wound because of the deflection. But had he not had that vest on, it'd be a much different situation.
Okay, so you heard it there. He said the exact same thing on the radio show, that he took a shot to the vest, deflected, it hit him in the shoulder. So there's that allegation that he actually saw the deputy with a gunshot wound and he was going into surgery is false. I cannot find it anywhere, and it is nowhere. He never said this. All he said was the same thing that he said at the press conference, that he took a shot, it deflected, hit him in the shoulder for a superficial wound. And just to show you what's swirling around here on social media, here's a post I picked up. So this is where it's all coming from. I mean, it's running like, it's just spreading like wildfire. Because the mayor also lied. He said he saw the deputy's wound, which is true. He did say he saw the wound. And also lied and said the deputy was in surgery. That is unfounded. That never happened. He insulted everyone that lives in the apartment complex. This isn't the first incident either that he has said something that was wrong. He's a flat-out idiot, and he's also a dick. That's personal opinion, but as far as the facts, what I'm trying to get to is he never said he saw a gunshot wound or he was in surgery. But that's what's just absolutely running rampant here on social media. So I want to get the facts out, and that's inaccurate. He did see the deputy, and he said exactly what he said in the press conference, that he took a shot to the vest, hit him in the shoulder, superficial wound. So this news conference is after that allegation happened. So he first comes out and says he got shot and it hit the as the first clip. It's very hard to hear. You're gonna have to turn the volume up and listen to it again. But he says the guy got shot and his bulletproof vest is what saved his life, and that it reflected, and he has little minor injuries. So that's his second statement. So then we're moving on to the sheriff, the captain, I think he was down here, is giving the explanation of kind of what's going on, and the mayor interrupts him. And the mayor goes up there and says, we have a building of mentally ill people that shouldn't be there, and yada, yada, yada. They should not be in an apartment complex overlooking the sheriff's station, which I kind of agree with. I don't think that's the major problem here. The problem with this mayor, and I'm trying to be as just common sense wise, and I'm trying to be as fair and looking at both sides of these things. It's been a series of mistakes that this mayor has made, and it's just looking bad. That's the biggest problem with it. So, and it's just getting worse. And I think the mayor is really causing himself a lot of problems. So a lot of people are taking offense to that alleged allegation that he saw this deputy and he saw him and he was going into surgery. The second one is now he's blaming the mentally ill people, and the mental illness, actually they didn't have anything to do with it. But I do agree with him there. So I don't see a very big uproar with that. He's just speaking the truth, and that's what should be said. But again, it's with the series of events that's been going on, and I think that's what's causing the public outcry. On top of he's a lawyer, he's the biggest law firm out here in Lancaster, and he's the mayor of the city. So I think a lot of people don't like him to begin with. He's just one of these big money guys that got into office. So I think there's a lot of resentment there. But it's been a series of mistakes that now I am even starting to question what's really going on here, and this is starting to look even more shady to begin with. Here's his profile, and I'm only bringing his profile up because I don't really care. It was public. You used to be able to like and comment on his profiles, because I did just a few days ago. He just changed his profile pictures just yesterday, 20 hours ago. The day before his shooting, I think I even put this on my podcast, but I'm not sure. He put out a little statistic that I'm going to pull up right here. He said, let's go back to the post. Crime is dropping in Lancaster. We can still do better. As we pull up the post, homicide is up 40%. Rapes down 12%. That's a good thing. Aggravated assaults are up 18%. Robberies are up 35%. Burglaries are down 30%. And it's not because of this garbage statistic that he's going to try to tell you here. It's because here in California, Prop 47, burglary is nothing anymore. So the police don't even come. You call like, hey, somebody robbed my house. They're going to be out in 3 hours. Never mind. Don't even worry about it because you guys care less. Larceny, theft is down, and auto theft's down. So yeah, non-violent crimes are down, but violent crimes are all up. But crime in Lancaster's dropping, same with arson. So it's just another blunder. He says this the day before this hoax of the police shooting. So a blunder there. A couple blunders. So he stuck his foot in his mouth. He made the allegation that I can't confirm, and then he blames it all on mental illness, which doesn't, it just doesn't, it's not tactful. And maybe at this point, the sheriff's already kind of, maybe they already know something and they're not believing it. That's kind of why maybe they're being quiet and letting the investigation play out. So I don't know. But here's where just more strings of things just get so shady. So I'm going to pull up here. I set myself, because I had a feeling things were getting a little funky here. So I wanted to send myself some things. So here we go. Pull this up. So I messaged myself. Here's my personal page. Friend me if you want. So the City of Lancaster video, they had a post of it. You click on it. Look at that. They scrubbed the video of Parris talking. So the City of Lancaster deleted their post. Scrubbed it. That's not the only thing that's been scrubbed, which is crazy. That's what's really getting weird. So let me show you. I'm going to show you a screenshot here, another screenshot. This is a statement from the Lancaster City Council. Well, not the City Council, but from the city, Lancaster City page. So here he has a statement. Mayor Rex Parris statement regarding the false reports of a sniper. So I'm going to go over this because I don't think there's anything bad with this. We are all shocked to learn that this past week's deputy shooting incident at Lancaster Sheriff Station was fabricated. We are grateful there is not a sniper in our community targeting our deputies or anyone else. We are certainly concerned about the upheaval caused to those involved. We hope the young deputy gets the appropriate help he needs and realizes that crying wolf is not okay. Severe consequences can result. And while we are aware that the false claims can happen, until we know for certain, we will respond with the appropriate resources until we know the community is safe. We will always act to protect our city and our local emergency responders. And our local emergency responders did just that. I want to commend our Los Angeles Sheriff's Department, Lancaster Station, for not only responding quickly to the perceived threat, but also owning the discovery that the story was fabrication without any delay. I know they are doing everything in their power to resolve this issue and prevent further future occurrences. I see nothing wrong with that statement at all. However, here's the issue with that statement. That was posted on the Lancaster City page. So let's go to the Lancaster City page. And here it is nowhere to be found. August 22nd, August 23rd. They have scrubbed it now from their page. Why scrub it from your page? I thought there was nothing wrong with that response. However, you start digging a little bit deeper here. So on the scanner page, on this Facebook scanner, AV Scanner News, he responded to somebody. So here we go. This person that I'm hiding her identity because I don't have her, I just don't want to put her out there without her agreement, but he responded, major error. Any politician, anybody out there, anybody that knows anything about social media, do not respond to trolls or anything. Like, you're just going to stick yourself, you made your statement, leave it at that. Just move on, especially when it's something real touchy like this. He fell into the social media trap, and I think this is what started it all. How about apologizing to the hardworking staff and clients of mental health in America? I get where this person's asking him, but why respond to it? You've already put out your statement, leave it at that. Oops. Here we go. R. Rex Parris. So this is him, undoubtedly, and see that was his that's his screenshot there. I am unrepentant That right there is really, really ticked off the community. I'm unrepentant. That facility should not have windows overlooking the sheriff's department, and I am tired of these nonprofit facilities locating in Lancaster bringing problems from Los Angeles into our city. Okay, so a lot of people are having a lot of issues with that. Again, his response, I don't even think it's really that bad. Now, could the tonnage be a little bit better? Yes. And I think the big question is, you're the mayor and you've been in office for quite a long time now. I don't have it right off the top of my head, but it's probably getting on close to 10 years. You've been the mayor of Lancaster. Why haven't you stopped any of this? You are the mayor. At the end of the day, the buck stops with you. And I think that's where a lot of people are at. I think a lot of people are fed up. You made some outlandish comments. Again, it's a series of blunders. Why are you scrubbing social media? Like, I don't find anything wrong with any of these statements. They could be a little bit nicer, yes, of course, but I find nothing wrong with that. We probably should not have mentally ill people living in an apartment complex right behind a sheriff's station. It's just not the brightest idea. It's just a series, like I said, a series of events that are making this even more weird and more peculiar. Like, why is this happening? So here we go. So now there's a recall effort going on. I mean, this has really just stirred it up. At the end of the day, the one person that should be blamed is the actual goofball deputy that made these claims. But it's fallen on this mayor, which is kind of crazy. But what you've done, everybody's going to have opposition, especially when you're in any political world. I mean, when you give yourself, you got enemies, right? You got people that want you out of office. That's going to be, I mean, most of America is going to be 50-50. You know, there's you versus another guy, and they want the other guy to win. So when you do things like this, you're giving people ammunition to get you out and giving them fuel to the fire to get you out. So kind of a local thing going on here now because of these blunders. Recall Mayor Rex. There is now a Facebook group going on here in my local area to recall this guy. I joined just because I'm trying to follow what's going on. But now we have a page right here that's Get Parris Out of Lancaster. This has almost 4,000 people following them. So to win the mayor's race, I believe the last election I looked was like 5,000 votes won the mayor race. That's pretty close right there in people that are committed to recalling him. Now, granted, I want to be transparent here and make it not look funny. This page was created back in 2010. So there you go. So they wanted him out all the way in 2010 and we're in 2019. So he's been around a while. However, this thing is gaining steam. I'll tell you that right now. That's where we're at. So now there's a giant ground movement. They've shut off comments on different local community pages talking about this, but there's a big uproar about a lot of things, that he's lying about things, that he acted a fool in the press conference. And then, of course, all your day-to-day things that people deal with all the time. Their normal gripes and complaints about this. But look how out of control things can happen in your local community and in your local events by one thing. And it's just, I'm not going to lie, why you're scrubbing your social media and wiping it clean, you make it really suspicious to me. And I have no qualms on this mayor. He's in the middle for me. I don't like him. I'm not against him. I would probably vote for him again because everything seems to be going pretty good, unless there was somebody out there that had a much better policy than him. But at this point, I'm a content voter for him. But you scrubbing your social media and all these weird things you're doing after the fact, when I didn't think there's anything wrong with it, that raises a lot of suspicion for me. And now you make me suspicious, and now you've really got the community in an uproar, especially when you're responding to people when you've already made your statement. Just leave it at that. So the recall effort is really starting to pick up steam. We've even got here, I want to show you a picture here. The Antelope Valley Times, so our local newspapers picked it up. Update, Mayor Parris is unrepentant. A reader forwarded to us this screenshot, comments by Lancaster Mayor R. Rex Parris on his personal Facebook page. So they're even picking up on this story that Parris made this comment and it's not looking good. And now this is spreading on the recall effort here too. So anyhow, guys, that's all I got for you today. It took me a couple days because, like I said, I wanted to get all the facts out for everybody here in the Antelope Valley, Lancaster, California, to know what's going on with this mayor. So you may like him, you may not, but at least now you have all the facts and you can do what you want with it. But this is the facts about the mayor and the shooting that happened here in Lancaster. Thank you, guys. I appreciate everybody's time. I hope this was informative, and I hope this lets you make your own personal mind up and you vote how you vote through your own heart and with facts. That's all I can ask anybody to do. Thank you, guys. I appreciate it. I love you guys. I don't have my flag today, but I love this country. I'll talk to you later. Thank you for watching my show today. If you've missed any other episodes, you can check them out right there. You can also follow me on Facebook, or you can follow me right there on Twitter. Share me and help me get my reach as far as we can, because we are gonna keep America great.